guys, it's Lisa, and it's good to be back. I still don't have my voice completely back from my little bout with strep throat that then turned into a sinus infection, which turned into like a whole host of antibiotics. And I can almost count, maybe on one hand, maybe I need two other fingers, how many times I've taken antibiotics in my whole life. And the last time I took antibiotics was when I had my daughter and ended up getting a blood infection and was on 7 different antibiotics. So I figure that kind of counts probably for 7 more, but it was a single time. And so it's basically been 16 months since I've been on antibiotics, and now I've been on antibiotics like crazy for the past 10 days. Anyway, not that you want to hear about my antibiotic story, but it's just like, I will tell you though that it is making me slightly crazy because I'm such a healthy eater that it makes me crazy that I have been the sickest one in the house. And so anyway, today I wanted to talk about something that has really been showing itself lately a lot more than I think I realized. And so first of all, if you didn't watch my last video, because I didn't probably have it titled very well, I am officially at a normal weight. I am not considered overweight anymore. That is by the standards for height and weight, but I do still need to lose 20 pounds from the standards of how I look my best. So I am not stopping the journey here. I'm keeping going. But so the thing is, for the 10 days that I've been sick, I've been kind of like just eating like a normal person. Not like a normal person, because normal people aren't, they don't eat really healthy. But so I've been just eating like I always thought normal people ate, and it's really felt amazing, and I've stuck to like, I feel like my identity now is I don't eat flour and sugar, I don't eat prepackaged foods, I don't eat I'm vegan, I don't eat dairy, I don't eat meat, I don't eat like anything like that. So I feel like that is like actually becoming my true identity, and because of that, it's made it easier to just say no. And but the real thing that has come to not, like, I remember it might have been so when I first started Bright Line Eating, I listened to probably every podcast and every YouTube video and everything that had Susan Pierce Thompson in it. So this might have been an interview in a podcast, or it might have been actually in her book, because I listened to that on audio. So somewhere she says that she kind of refers to how people are like, I don't have time for that. I don't have time for weighing and measuring my food. And she gives a reply, and I'm not quoting exactly, but basically she says, you'll be surprised at how much time you have when you're not thinking about food all the time. And I think I am currently experiencing that. Like, I am currently experiencing not thinking about food all the time and not having food be my main focus. And consequently, I am able to think more about more important things. So let me just kind of take it from there. I'm trying not to ramble. It's probably nearly impossible for me. But, okay, so let me just take it from there. And that is, so I used to get up in the morning and weigh myself, and that would make me decide whether or not I was going to have a good day. Because if I was down a pound, yay me, I was down a pound, I might be on my way to weight loss. If I was up a pound, oh my goodness, like, I'll never lose weight because I didn't lose any. And yesterday I ate nothing and I still gained weight, and it must be something wrong with me. And so anyway, that's how my day started. And then it started with like, will I be good for breakfast? Will I do well? Will I do good? Will I be able to just eat my portion, or will I want more? Will I go back and get more, or will I deny myself? And that went for every meal, and then in between meals, and like, would I grab a snack? Would I not grab a snack? Would it be a healthy snack? Would I be able to stop at 1 Oreo? Would I be able to eat 3 Oreos? Would I be able to eat the whole package of Oreos? Where would I stop? So my whole day kind of went with like obsessions about food. And that doesn't even include the obsession about like how to feed my family and whether or not I was feeding them healthy or not healthy or whatever. It doesn't even, so basically my day was filled with food thoughts, filled with it. And then I would like go to bed at night thinking about what I was going to eat the next day, and it would start the whole cycle over. And I'm talking, I probably spent 90% of my time thinking about food. And it's just amazing because I have really stopped thinking about food. Like, I have really, like, stopped thinking about it all the time. Like, I mean, so when you think about it, that has freed up 90% of my brain for other things. That is like freed up 90% of my brain for my kids and for school planning and for going places and for doing things and all those things. Like, that has freed up my brain. So let me just tell you a couple of things that have kind of come naturally as a result of this. And one of them does have to do with food, but it's like a broader scope of things. I've been a vegetarian since I was 9, and I didn't really put the vegan thing together with it until later. So obviously I've been 100% vegan now since, let's see, January, February, March, April, May, June, about 6 months. And I had tried off and on before, and I just hadn't had enough. Like, I kept being convinced that it wasn't healthy or whatever, and it was like my research while doing Bright Line Eating that made me realize it is so healthy. It's so healthy that I had my family go vegan. Anyway, I started thinking less about myself and less about my food and more about the world and the impact that my eating actually had on the world. And if you have not read it, you should read Eat for the Planet. It is an amazing book, and it actually talks about the environment and how things are, how we're affecting, like how like our eating habits are affecting the environment and the global warming and all those things. And so I was able to just like listen to that book and really move forward and like do something. So first of all, my eating habits are definitely, my family's eating habits are definitely like about the whole environment. And then secondly, after learning about the environment, I was able to research more about like just other things like zero waste and responsibility and responsible consuming and things that you can do about that. And it just really made me think, like, look how much I have been able to put forth towards the world and making the world a better place instead of towards myself and making myself, well, ideally it would have been making myself better, but in ways it was just making myself crazy and everyone around me crazy. And so if you, did that make sense that you basically, like, because I don't think about food all the time, I've been able to like try to live my life to make a more worldwide impact, to do something, and to do, I know it seems very small, but to do something is better than doing nothing. And I love the fact that I have the time and the brain power to really think about those things and to do them. It's so much more productive than thinking about how many Oreos I'm gonna eat. So I hope that made sense. And that being said, I have gotten, like, we are gearing towards a zero waste lifestyle. So I will be posting weekly, maybe bi-weekly, about that and some of the things we're doing to change that. I did not realize how many paper towels this family uses. We use a lot of paper towels. We don't use a lot of paper towels anymore, but holy criminy, we were using a lot of paper towels. And we were using a lot of packaging and just things that I never thought about. And there's a whole thing about recycling. Anyway, that is just one of the many, many ways that I feel like this has, just not thinking about food has affected my life. And I also just, I used to sit down and I would write, like, in a notebook, like, I would just kind of write my goals, and those goals were usually lose 30 pounds, start exercising, and those were my focuses. And now, like, I write my goals and they're like, plan a summer trip, like, have, plan a trip to Europe with your family. I mean, hello, like, don't you want to know more about, like, so our family is taking a trip to Europe, and I will be vlogging about that as well. And I think that actually cycles around to my not thinking about food all the time. So hopefully this made sense, and I will be expanding on a lot of these things that our family is doing, such as the going zero waste, thinking about the environment, and our trip to Europe with a family of 7. We are also finalizing some of our foster to adopt paperwork, so we will ideally be a family of 8 by the time we actually go to Europe. And I will, if people want to know more about that journey, I can tell you more. We, just as a side note, because yeah, you would think, how can I tell you, because I'm sort of new to this journey. My husband and I were foster parents before this, and it was a really negative experience, and we learned a lot from it. And I also said, we will never, ever in a million years do that again. So 4 years later, we're filling out the paperwork, and we're doing that again. Yeah, I also said after our last dog died that we would never get another animal. And yeah, we have 2 dogs and 3 cats. And I will stick to my guns about not getting another fish. We had a fish, my son brought my little Dalmatian over here. We had a fish that, it all resulted as a fish from the fair. And anyway, the fish lived for a very long time, even though they're supposed to live to be 30, like in a good environment. Our fish lived to be about 11, and he grew from a little tiny, like 1/4-inch feeder fish to a like 11, 12-inch goldfish. Like, he almost looked like a koi. But one day he just got like sick, and he got sicker and sicker and sicker. And it was horrible to watch him die, because there's nothing you can do for a fish. You can't take him to a vet. We were trying all sorts of medications, and nothing was working. So I will stick to my guns about no more fish. Plus, a lot of aquatic life dies being shipped and transported around, and they kind of expect that. That's kind of, they just assume that's expendable life, and I don't want to be a part of that either. So anyway, that is my, that was kind of a side note about how I don't do a very good job of saying I'm never going to do it and then actually doing it, but not with fish. Anyway, I hope this all made a lot of sense, and those are some things that'll be upcoming. I revisited my Bright Line journey today because like I said, for the past couple days, I had not been eating, I had been eating Bright Line, but I hadn't been measuring and weighing because I've been sick. And I found that whenever certain hormonal times for me, as well as illness, makes me absolutely nauseated by greens. So I had basically been eating what I have for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And today I actually felt really good, aside from the fact that I don't completely have my voice back yet. I felt really good, and I was able to eat my normal Bright Line stuff. So I had my normal Bright Line breakfast of oatmeal, frozen bananas and berries, and 2 ounces of almonds. And then for lunch, I had a huge kale salad with some cooked veggies and a little zero waste stir fry on top. And then I mixed that with my fat, and it was really, really good. And I've already made my dinner because it's going to be very similar, and I wanted my greens to be melted. So I am now back on track with my Bright Line journey, because even though I've been maintaining, not following it exactly, I want to get back into the weight loss zone. I would like to be 20 pounds lighter. And I started this journey July 26th of last year, so I am coming up on my 1-year anniversary, and I would really like to be way closer to my personal goal before then. So anyway, I will be covering in future vlogs, I'll be covering my new environmental thing and things I watched and things that motivated me that way. I will be covering more Bright Line eating. I'll be covering traveling while Bright Line eating. I will be covering our whole foster to adopt process, and anything else I mentioned. Oh, our trip to Europe. I will also be covering that. So anyway, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Please give it a thumbs up if you did. Please give it a thumbs up if you didn't. And I will talk to you guys soon.